Alexander Graham Bell, the Soviet Union, and flapjacks are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is March 7th, 2022. It is the 66th day of the year. We got 299 days left. It's your 10th Monday in your 11th week, and you got 13 days left until spring. We're still stuck in winter. If today's your birthday, you're still a Pisces. Today is National Flapjack Day. March 7th delivers National Flapjack Day with piping hot flavor and goodness. That's what they say on their website. The day honors the sturdy, wholesome cakes we've been cooking for generations. Now, they say recipes, are handed down from generation to generation. When I was growing up, I only knew Bisquick. Bisquick pancakes, that was it. Flapjacks, whatever. There isn't much of a difference between flapjacks and pancakes. A pancake from the United Kingdom is thinner and more like a crepe, but a little bit moister. In the US and Canada, pancakes are thicker and fluffier. For most, the term pancake or flapjack is pretty interchangeable. There are some slight differences, like I said. Flapjacks tend to be a little bit more regional and almost always tend to be smaller than a pancake. They're also cooked with a little more oil, so they get like a little crispier exterior. All right, enough of the flapjacks. Let's see what else today has given us. 1862, the American Civil War. Union forces engage Confederate troops at the Pea Ridge in northwestern Arkansas. 1876, Alexander Graham Bell is granted a patent for an invention he calls the telephone. Staying with communication, 1900, the German liner SS Kaiser Wilhelm de Gross becomes the first ship to send a wireless signal to shore. 1933, the board game Monopoly is trademarked by Charles Darrow. When I was a kid, someone told me Charles Darwin invented it, and I believed them for the longest time. I brought it up to someone, this was after the internet was around, and they said, I don't think that's right, and so we Googled it, and yeah, I was totally wrong. I had this little tidbit of information floating around in my head for decades and had no clue Charles Darwin had nothing to do with Monopoly. 1941, the German submarine U-47, one of the most successful U-boats of World War II, disappears without a trace. I read one thing where a lot of people thought they sailed to Brazil and just scuttled the sub and lived in Brazil. But this is the story. U-47 departed on her 10th and last patrol on February 20th, 1941. Now, she's believed to have been sunk by the HMS Wolverine west of Ireland. The last transmission that U-47 had is that they just hit a whaling ship with a torpedo in that area. After World War II, they were comparing different, ship logs, and they found out that the Wolverine attacked a submarine in that area on March 7th, 1941, not too long after they radioed back that they had just hit this whaling ship with a torpedo. Nothing further was ever heard from U-47 after that hit on the whaling ship. Along with the conspiracies of them going down to Brazil and just sinking their own boat, they also think it could have hit mines because that was a heavily mined area they were in. Some believe that it was a serious mechanical failure because there was never anything found from the ship. If they hit a mine or they were hit by a depth charge from the HMS Wolverine, there would have been some oil slick, there would have been something float to the top. Nothing. They found nothing from the ship. The crew had entirely disappeared. An account later was that the HMS Camilla had sunk her or possibly had engaged with her some days after the Wolverine incident. But she disappeared on March 7th, 1941. All 45 officers and crew are presumed dead. Now, when I say this was a very successful submarine, it was. U-47 sunk 30 commercial ships and one warship. She also damaged 8 other commercial ships. 1965, Bloody Sunday. A group of 600 civil rights marchers are brutally attacked by state and local police in Selma, Alabama. 1993, the tugboat Thomas Herbert sank off the coast of New Jersey. That may be the first tugboat disaster we've ever covered on this channel. 1996, the Challenger disaster. Divers from the USS Preserver locate the crew cabin of the Challenger on the ocean floor. Movies released on March 7th, 1997. Private Parts. This was Howard Stern's big movie that, he was a big star at the time, but this kind of put him on a higher level. In case you don't know, Howard Stern was like the original shock jock. He said things to upset people, he said things to shock people, and people couldn't quit tuning into his radio show. Well, the movie Private Parts was all about the beginnings of his show and his career and all that, and it was really interesting. Even if you didn't like Howard Stern, you went and watched this movie because it was pretty good. I've watched it a few times. Born on March 7th, 1974, Jenna Fisher. She's an Emmy-nominated actress best known for playing Pam Beesly on the NBC series The Office. Her film credits include, in 2007, the comedy called Blades of Glory, as well as Walk Hard, The Dewey Cox Story, and Promotion. Her first acting job was for a sexual education video released by UCLA Medical Center. Died on March 7, 1999, we lost Stanley Kubrick, iconic director, cinematographer, and screenwriter who excelled across a number of genres, with the 1968 sci-fi classic 2001: A Space Odyssey, to the 1980 horror movie The Shining. 1971, he did Clockwork Orange. 1964, political satire Dr. Strangelove. If you've never seen that movie, it is great. I love that movie. The actual title of that movie is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. That is just a great title. Before fame, he was a poor student in high school. He went on to attend evening classes at City College in New York while working as a freelance photographer. He received his first job as a staff photographer for Look magazine. Yeah, he's done some classic movies that I really, really love. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.